Good morning, Mr. Imran. Thank you for taking the time to attend this interview. My name is Kananga and I'm the Human Resource Manager of Shopee Malaysia. Joining me today is Ms. Medina, our Senior Marketing Manager, and Ms. Puja, our Chief Marketing Officer. Before we proceed, let me give you some idea of what we'd like to cover today. We'll be asking a few sets of questions to better understand your background, perspectives, and experience. So would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you. Good morning to everyone present as well. Thank you for having me today. My name is Imran. I worked as a marketing executive in L'Oreal for 5 years, where I developed marketing activities for new product launches and regularly analyzed the performance of paid media. I worked frequently in teams and I've taken on leadership roles in marketing projects as well. Based off of that, I've gained a great deal of experience from my past job and I'm seeking new opportunities now. Personally, I enjoy working in collaborative environments where I can learn a lot from others and ideas and resources are shared openly. In my past experience, I've realized that when I'm able to engage with collaborators openly and discussions are conducted amongst this, I tend to learn quite a bit. So due to my strong background and experience in team management, I believe that I will be able to succeed as an online marketing manager for Shopee.
That's very interesting. You seem to have a lot of experience in the marketing field. So, what interests you about working for us?
Well, I see this as an opportunity to advance my career further. Shopee is the leading e-commerce platform in all of Southeast Asia. It's also in the lead in terms of overall growth. The company has a strong customer first philosophy and they've also successfully provided a customized online experience for users. So it's amazing to see how Shopee integrates the unique features of culture, language, and marketing strategies in the operations for each market. So for me personally, I believe that my values and career aspirations align with that of Shopee's company core values. And I believe it would be a great honor to work for a company with such an excellent track record and strong leadership in the industry.
That's nice to hear from you. I would like to ask regarding your last position. Why did you decide to leave the job?
I would say that I've gained a lot of experience from my previous job at L'Oreal, but I decided to leave for better career prospects. I spent a good few years there. And having worked at the company for a long time, it just seemed like it was the right moment. I think that I'm also ready to um, take on a managerial role where I can achieve professional growth myself and also help others grow along with me. And I'm very excited about this job opportunity and I am hopeful that it can help propel my career forward.
Thank you for your answer. I'll now pass the interview to our Senior Marketing Manager, Ms. Medina, to ask you a little bit more on the marketing side of things.
Thank you, Ms. Kenanga. So, Mr. Imran, since you have experience in the marketing field, would you like to describe in detail what digital marketing means to you?
Sure. Thank you for your question. I think digital marketing on a surface level is how companies connect brands with potential customers using the power of the internet. Without realizing, we are exposed to digital marketing on a daily basis through various forms of media, with social media being, I think, the prime example. Companies advertise customers with ads being delivered through countless digital channels such as search engines, websites, social media platforms, and mobile apps, even email and newsletters, to name a few. So companies use these channels to endorse products and services to consumers. As the world is becoming more digitized than before, people tend to rely heavily on digital means to seek validation for their product choices.
All right. In a marketing experiment, there is split testing, also known as A/B testing. So, are you familiar with the concept, and could you explain what it is to us briefly?
Absolutely, yes. During my time at L'Oreal, actually, we conducted A/B testing for all of our marketing campaigns to ensure that we were able to identify which ad was most effective in our campaigns. Essentially, A/B testing is when you have two or even more at times ads for the same campaign. So, for example, let's say company A wishes to have an ad campaign to increase brand awareness. They would create ads called version A and another called version B. Excuse me. So both of these ads will say or serve rather the same purpose, but they may vary in terms of graphics, color scheme, text, or other specific details. By running two ads at the same time, company A can see which one receives the most engagement and ultimately decide if they'd like to cease serving the ad that is less effective in order to save costs. But typically, most companies will still run both ads because it means that they can serve ads that gains engagement from different people within the same target group.
That's great to hear from you. So, Ms. Puja, would you like to handle the next interview session?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Miss Medinna. So, can you tell us about the time you demonstrated strong leadership?
Sure, yeah. In the company that I previously worked at, there was a time where the marketing team was not performing as well as they should have. In fact, they were not able to submit tasks according to the specified due date. When I reached out to them and I asked them about the issues they were facing in completing the task, it turns out that there were not enough staff members in the marketing team in order to complete the tasks that we had given them on time. They were exhausted from spending too much time and effort completing the task. Therefore, I requested the marketing manager to hire more marketing staff. I divided the work equally among each staff member and made sure that not a single one of them was overworked. Even more so, I requested the marketing manager to reschedule the due date of the task, and we conducted regular checks to see their progress on a daily basis in order to ensure they were doing all right. And afterward, the team was performing as they were expected to. They were more energized and they looked happier in completing the task as well. As a result, they were able to complete the task before the rescheduled due date too.
Okay, that's wonderful to hear from you. So can you describe about time where you experienced a conflict while working on a team project? And please tell us how you handled the situation.
There was one particular time where I had to manage 3 different teams that were handling different projects. And while having our weekly meetings, there was a member that regularly challenged every solution that was presented by other members. Even though she is talented and skillful, her behavior caused everyone in the room to feel uneasy, as she had a tendency to interrupt and disturb others without listening. This behavior became so regular, and it reached a point that I spoke to her, I communicated with her and her team, and it turns out that the member had actually caused a task-based conflict between her own team, which affected the member's deadline. To resolve this conflict, I counseled her behavior and I observed her closely. Ultimately, the team was able to complete the project, and I'm proud to say that the marketing members were able to effectively participate in every project moving forward.
That's great. Good job.
Okay, moving on to the next question. If let's say you have made some mistakes during your work, but no one else noticed, would you address the error and the risk of slowing things down, or just ignore it to keep the project or task moving?
Personally, as an employee to the organization, it's important to think collectively as opposed to brushing off the problem and letting it slide. Ignoring the mistake will only contribute to further consequences down the line, which would be detrimental to the organization and involve stakeholders. So I think it is an employee's role to take on responsibility for all their actions.
Okay, moving on to the next question. For instance, if there would be a time that you caught a subordinate misappropriating marketing campaign funds by funneling some amount into their own pockets, and the response was to apologize and assure you that no such act would occur again in the future, what would you do?
Though in life, it is often said that second chances should be afforded to all, breaching company policy to this extent is unacceptable, and it would require a thorough investigation by HR, along with the advice of relevant executives before a decision is made on whether the employee should face a fine, suspension, expulsion, or maybe even a combination between the 3. Personally, enriching yourself with funds belonging to the company is a criminal offense, and the appropriate course of action, apart from internal investigation, would be to lodge a police report against the employee to ensure that he does not repeat this offense at any other establishment going forward. In all likelihood, I would support the notion of expelling the employee and having them undergo the due process of law in order to reacquire the lost funds and to also be paid back fitting amount of damages.
Thank you so much for your answers, Mr. Imran. Now we have arrived at the end of the interview. You've given us an excellent review of your background and experience, and it has been great talking with you. Do you have any questions before we end this interview?
Well, thank you all once again for your opportunity. I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I do have a small question. Will there be times where I would be asked to work during the weekends, perhaps?
Yes, there will be times that you may be asked to work during the weekends if there are unfinished tasks that are also close to their due dates or no, or if there are changes in plans. Therefore, we expect you to always be ready every time we need you.
Any other questions, Mr. Imran?
None for me. I think this is all for me.
All right, if there are no further questions, I would like to say thank you again for attending the interview, and we wish you all the best and hope to see you very soon.
All right. Thank you all so much. Have a nice day.
Bye. Good morning, Mr. Raeian. Thank you for being here today. My name is Kenanga, and I'm the Human Resource Manager of Shopee Malaysia. Joining me today is Ms. Medinna, our Senior Marketing Manager, and Ms. Puja, our Chief Marketing Officer. Before we proceed, I will briefly explain the interview process. So we'll be asking a few sets of questions to better understand your backgrounds, perspectives, and experience. Would you like to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
All right, my apologies. Good morning, everybody. So my name is Raeian. I'm 29 years old this year, and I'm currently staying in Damansara. So in the past 6 years in my working career, I have worked with 2 different companies. So the first company that I worked with is Fishbowl, the Fishbowl restaurant. So I did digital marketing during my time there. So I experienced, managing their social media accounts, also communicating with their content creators, as well as handling a little bit of graphic design, and also doing some market research for the company. So after 2 years, I got an offer at the Bayan Tree KL. And so my experience is a bit different to my first job, because this time I primarily oversee their online marketing efforts and also their ensuring the accuracy in the marketing campaign, the details in the marketing campaign. So due to my fast learning, my supervisor has actually commended me for doing a good job, because after during my 2 years there, we have seen a rise in our customers.
That's great. You seem to be very well versed in the marketing field. So what interests you about working for us?
Oh, well, because Shopee, they have been growing really fast during the past few years since the establishment. So it has continued. They have a lasting impression on me. I'm very impressed by the innovation and also the development in the space in such a short time. So they are a very creative company, Shopee, and also with their marketing strategies, like using their celebrities. So and I enjoy working in a team environment. So I've worked before in teams, so this has helped me for this job.
Thank you for your answer. I would like to further ask why you decided to leave your last job.
Okay. So, in my previous job, I used to work with a colleague. So in our department, we have only 2 people, including me. So he was promoted to a higher position. So I was stuck there all alone. So I had to bear all the responsibility. So the workload has starting to get too much for me. So it was a bit overwhelming. So that's why with COVID-19, it actually made it worse. So I decided to, look for a new job, a new working environment.
I see. Okay, I will now pass the interview to our Senior Marketing Manager, Ms. Medinna, to ask you some marketing-related questions.
Right, no problem.
All right, thank you, Ms. Kenanga. So, Mr. Raeian, it is pretty interesting of the marketing background you have. In your opinion, what does digital marketing means to you? Feel free to describe in detail and elaborate about it.
Okay. So digital marketing is all about how companies, they try to interact with the customers, connecting with the people in a digital space, in a digital setting. So digital marketing is very popular nowadays. So a lot of companies are using it, to interact with the people. But in all honesty, I am not very well versed with the fine details and methods in how to execute a marketing campaign. But I'm a very open-minded, I'm a very enthusiastic person, so I'm looking forward to having this opportunity to learn more from Shopee.
All right. In the marketing experiment, we used to have split testing, also known as A/B testing.
Right.
Are you familiar with the concept of A/B testing? Could you explain
Oh, yeah,
to us about it? Yes.
All right, so A and B testing, I've tried this during my time at Fishbowl. So A/B testing, basically, we are creating two advertisements from the one advertisements to have a different variation. So version. Let's just take a coffee as an analogy. So for the first advertisement, we use a caffeinated coffee, and the version B, we take a decaffeinated coffee. So both campaigns are different. I mean, it's the same campaign, but two different advertisements, but it serves the same purpose to garner the attention of the specific target market. So yeah, so this is quite effective in the digital marketing space. So yeah, so it piques people's interest. So yeah, A/B marketing is actually very useful in today's time.
Okay, thank you for your answer, Mr. Raeian. Moving on to the next
Right.
question, I will be passing to our Chief Marketing Officer, Ms. Puja.
Okay, so thank you, Ms. Medinna. And can you tell us about a time you demonstrated strong leadership?
Strong leadership. Okay. Yeah. So there was a time, when I was an employee. I was an employee in the previous company. So there was one employee who was not performing well. So I asked her, what's going on with her life. So she told me, oh, I've been sick in the past few days. I'm worried I'm gonna get fired from the job because I cannot perform well. But then I help her get some rest. I help her to get some permission for rest, and also assure her that she won't be dismissed from the job as long as she can bounce back, perform well. So that's what she did. She took a week off to rest, and then she bounced back and she performed well.
That's great to hear from you. So can you describe about a time where you experienced a conflict while working on a team project? And please tell us how you handled the situation.
All right. Okay. So I have numerous conflicts with my colleagues before. It's no surprise. So during discussions, I value their different perspectives, but then again, I tend to listen to my own opinion. So because I'm a bit hot-headed, sometimes I believe that my opinion is right. So but then throughout my working career, I am learning how to accept people's their opinions, so a bit more open-minded.
That's wonderful to hear.
Thank you.
Great. On this next question, what would you do if you made a mistake that no one else noticed? Would you address the error and risk slowing things down, or ignore it to keep the project or task moving forward?
Well, as much as I would like to ignore the mistake that I've made, I believe that we should be accountable for mistakes. Like in the famous film, Spider-Man, there's a character, his name's Uncle Ben. He said, with great power comes great responsibility. So, therefore, I think, even though we will get a lot of flack for the mistakes we've made, it's important to own up to our mistakes, because there's something worth commending. And also, we should learn from our mistakes and move on, and continue to learn and improve in life.
That's great. And for this next question, could you tell us what would you do if there would be a time that you caught a subordinate misappropriating marketing campaign funds by funneling amount into their own pockets, and the response was to apologize and assure you that no such act will occur again in the future?
Okay. So yeah, I think it's safe to say that every company we have a clause as part of their contract, so highlighting such behaviors as embezzlement and also misappropriating funds for the grounds for immediate dismissal of the employee, and also further action through the court of law. So, but then again, I believe we should engage with the respective HR and the relevant executives to try to figure out a solution to this situation. But no, the best case scenario is possibly to get back the money from the misappropriated funds, or else the last resort would be to call the relevant authorities, involving the police and stuff, because we wouldn't want to tarnish the brand's image, right?
Thank you for your answers, Mr. Raeian. Now we have arrived at the end of the interview. Has been a great pleasure talking with you. Do you have any questions before we end this interview?
Oh yeah, so I'm just a bit curious. So for Shopee, what are the expectations of having an excellent online marketing manager?
Okay, so one of my expectations of an excellent online marketing manager is that he or she needs to be interested in learning new things. I believe that when a person is interested in learning new things, he or she could gain more knowledge, and this could be helpful for our company. And another expectation of mine is that an excellent online marketing manager needs to have little to no absenteeism. So this will help our company in finishing tasks and achieving goals more effectively and efficiently.
Any other questions you would like to ask, Mr. Raeian?
No, that's all. But thank you for taking the time out to have this interview with me. I am pretty confident about getting the job. So yeah. Thank you
I
very
would
much.
also like to say thank you again for the insightful interview. We wish you all the best and hope to see you very soon.
All right. Take care. Hope to
Thank
get
you.
it. Thank you very much.